Hi, so I just thought I would do a quick video on profit improvement. So these are 7 quick, easy things you can do to improve the profit of any company that you've acquired, or I guess any company that you're already running. I just always think about it in terms of businesses that I'm buying. So the first one is very simply looking at income and cost recognition. So this is often referred to as the accounting treatment. So for example, when you make a sale, when do you account for the revenue from that sale? Do you account from the moment you sell and produce an invoice, or when you provide the actual service? And when you look at costs, are you recognizing the cost when you generate the sale or when you deliver the service? Because when you play around with those accounting treatments, you can often have quite a big impact on your profitability. So one of the first things we always do when we look at a company is we look at what accounting policy they're using, what their income recognition policy is, and what their cost recognition policy is, because there's often quite a bit of advantage that can be had. The key thing to remember here is that accountants normally choose your accounting treatment, and they're normally trying to save you tax. So you save tax by hiding as much profitability as possible. So as weird as it sounds, you can often get a lot more profit out of a business just by playing around with those two small aspects. The next thing would be capitalization of items. So what this means is, again, if you're trying to save tax, what you will do is you'll take investment that you're making, perhaps in development of software or new products, and you'll just show that as an expense in the company. That's the traditional way of dealing with things. If you show it as an expense, it keeps your profit down, which saves you tax. But what you can also do is present it as an asset. So you can take it out of the profit and loss completely and put it on the balance sheet as an asset. So obviously the benefit of doing that is the assets on the balance sheet go up, but also the profit in the business increases. And you can also capitalize members of staff that were working on that project. So if you have salaries associated with that development of software, for example, that could be capitalized and added back to the profit of the company. So capitalization is a great way of increasing profits. The next one is price increases. Now, when we buy companies, we often find that the price that they're charging is kind of related to the age of the owner. In other words, as people get older, they don't necessarily keep up with inflation. And so increasing your prices, obviously any amount of price increase goes straight to the bottom line of a company. In fact, on average, a 5% price increase equates to about a 40% increase in your bottom line. Now, if you're selling your business based on a multiple of your earnings, your price earnings ratio, then having a 40% increase in your earnings obviously has a dramatic impact on the overall value of the business. So could you do a single digit percentage price increase across the board on the business? Because that can have a profound impact on your overall valuation. The next one to look at is outsourcing. So particularly when you find small companies, you'll find that they have an odd sized requirement. So for example, they need, half a bookkeeper or 0.75 of a marketing person. So are there aspects inside the business that you could outsource, that you could find external providers to do? Outsourcing has boomed in the last few years. There's much better solutions available than ever before in history, with lots of remote workers and people that are happy to take on various aspects of looking after your business. So are there things in the business you could outsource? That's definitely worth looking. Number 5, cancel all your stupid expenses. You'll quite often find that over the years you've accumulated a sort of raft of little things that get automatically deducted from your bank account or credit cards. These can be little software applications that perhaps you used once and never used again. It can be some, water cooler, photocopier, franking machine, like these kind of things that are just eating away unnecessarily at your profits. Sometimes when we buy a new company, we just delete all of the standing orders, all the direct debits, and then just see who writes to us, and then figure out what things we want to keep later on. Because sometimes just trying to trawl through bank statements and figure out what things are can be very time consuming. So much easier to get them to do the work of writing to you to find out what on earth those things are for. So yeah, are there stupid expenses you can just get rid of that are unnecessary? Number 6 would be analyzing your cost per acquisition of a customer. So many businesses actually lose money from acquiring a customer, and they rely on keeping that customer over a long period of time to make that profit back. So quite often in a business, if you reduce the sales and marketing activity that has a high cost per acquisition, you can create a bit of a spike in the profit. So whilst it might seem you're going backwards because you might have a drop in revenue, you have an increase in profit. And an increase in profit is a step forward, not a step backwards. So, losing turnover might feel like a step backwards, but making more money is way more important. You know the old saying that turnover is vanity and profit is sanity. So let's get some more sanity into the business. After all, if you're valued on that multiple of earnings, you want to get those earnings up. So cutting away the high cost per acquisition marketing activity and sales activity can be a great way of creating that quick spike. And then the final one, number 7, look at some cross-selling opportunities. So obviously if you're going to stop looking for new customers, so if you're going to cut the cost per acquisition of new customers, it's a really important idea to go and start digging in your own backyard and see if you can find some value there. So if you do a quick analysis of how well you penetrate services into your customer base, what you'll often find is that you have loads and loads of room for improvement when it comes to selling more services to your existing customers. And obviously they already have a relationship with you, they already understand you, so it's much easier to do. And I've always found the easiest way to do this is to focus on a single vertical. So pick one product or service that you don't have much penetration for and pretty much dedicate the whole company to selling that additional service into your customer base. So you change your whole website to focus on that. You pay extra commission to every member of staff for promoting that. You tell everyone about it. You include flyers in all your posts that goes out. You tell everybody that rings the company about that particular service. So just, really focus down that. Once you've exhausted that, you could move on to another service that you're going to focus on for a period of time. So that's my 7 profit improvement ideas that you can bring into your business immediately and have a big impact on both the profitability and the value. I hope you found that interesting and keep tuned in for new and exciting things I'm going to be discussing.